Rise and shine, wild ones. We made it to Sunday. Yay! And I'm Bernadette. I am here with your Pick a Card Daily Tarot reading for this Sunday, November 29th, 2020. And man, this has been a crazy week of messages. It's been full of swords. It's been full of winged things. It's, it hit me dirt this morning. I was sitting here thinking, what is the thread going on of all the swords and all of the winged things? And then I took a look I was like, oh, well, okay, Sunday is the crown chakra day. That's about purple. I got my purple on. And the ruling planet is the sun. And I was like, illumination. The pen is mightier than the sword. Duh. Hey, listen, y'all. I would bet if I could take a poll of everybody that watches this video or has watched most of the videos this week, I bet a dime to a donut, y'all out there, many of you either are crazy journalers, or you write for a living or want to write for a living, or maybe you want to do poetry, you do news, you do something, but the pen is mightier than the sword. And when I take a look at what the card today, which is, by the way, Seven of Swords, and Weasel, I'm like, well, the devil's in the details. That's really what the Seven of Swords is about. And Weasel, there's so much air energy in Weasel because have you guys seen that picture that goes across Facebook every third day? It's actually a real picture of a weasel riding I want to say it's a hawk, an eagle, what is it? Hold on. I'll look it up while we're talking, but riding a woodpecker. Yes, woodpecker. And so it's the funniest thing ever, and a lot of people think that it's Photoshop, but it really isn't. And then when I take a look at woodpecker, which I believe came earlier in the week, y'all, the days start to run together. I can't remember. Yeah, woodpecker came on Wednesday, and it's like peck, 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 peck. I want to get what I want, peck, peck, peck. But and I forgot to say on Wednesday, I really see woodpecker also as being symbolic of Morse code, and that's about communication not in a secret way, but in a code. And then, anyway, how I put this all together, you kind of see how the stream of consciousness comes in from spirit, because I don't put this stuff together. Spirit puts this stuff together and then sends it to me. So something is going on out there with y'all, to you. If you're watching this video, I'm talking specifically to you. There's something in the writing. And that may be as simple as you need to put your thoughts and feelings into words and give it to somebody. You need to make a grocery list for whatever reason. Well, actually, sorry, when I do that, I'm hearing spirit. Actually, that's not true. Let's say that you're putting a grocery list together. It's an important grocery list. Maybe you're starting a new lifestyle or doing a lifestyle change with your eating habits, or maybe you're grocery shopping for somebody who's ill or incapacitated, elderly maybe, or maybe doesn't have the money they need to buy all of their, what they need. But there's something about sacred scribing. Oh, that's it, sacred scribing. There's something about sacred scribing that's important to you guys. So all of that said, let's talk about the traditional meanings of the Seven of Swords. And I always approach this card with really great care, because it's kind of like, really, it's kind of like the Five of Swords, if I'm remembering my cards correctly. I'd love to say that I have them 1000% memorized. Yeah, it's the Five of Swords. There's a bit of deceit in the card, and there could be a lot of deceit. Now, that could be you deceiving others. It could be you deceiving yourself. It could mean that there's someone else deceiving you. And, weasels are well known for their deceit. My gosh, they're the cutest little critters. Oh, hold on. I want to go back to the flying part. I just have so much to say, and it's just all these giant messages coming through. I did a super, super deep cleanse last night. Chakra cleanse. I took this long, hot shower. I've got candles lit again this morning. I lit candles last night. I did some mantras, and just all the week, kind of dumped it out into my shower and into my bathtub. And so when I wake up and especially on Sunday mornings, when with this really clean, clear, open vessel, things just start to come in really quickly. So going back to the flying part, weasels really have been noted oftentimes to be seen flying on birds, but it's because they attack them. And those poor old birds will take off, and weasels like, oh no, I'm getting you. And they'll hang on for the ride. I mean, they are intrepid little warriors. They are courageous. They don't care. I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube video about honey badger. I won't repeat it because it's just full of language. And I don't want to offend anybody, but it's hilarious and true. Weasels they're ferocious. They are the cutest, most frolicky, adorable, playful little, things, but they're ferocious, no joke. So by the way, if you are thinking about writing, there's some kind of sacred scribing you've got to do it. You're going to fly with it. You really, really are going to fly. Now, getting back to the devil's in the details thing, depending on what you want to do with your writing, and depending on what kind of deceit is going on, you deceiving yourself, others deceiving you, that kind of thing, it's so important to take a look at the details at this time. Whatever this is that you want to do, because when we take a look at the traditional Rider-Waite, which is what I base my readings on, I read with my Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, and it has all of the amazing power and medicine of the totem, spirit, and power animals, the animal allies, and it marries that energy with the archetypes of the Rider-Waite Tarot, and the readings that come out of it are just, oh my God, they're crazy. So when you take a look at the card, the traditional Rider-Waite card, if you look at the large yellow sky in the Seven of Swords, you've put a lot of thought and creativity into whatever this is that you want to do. And for today, what Spirit is telling me is that it's about sacred scribing. But if you really look closely, the scene of this card takes place on a stage. And as we all know, that's about people who play other people that they're really not, or at least there are components of them that are inside of that person, because again, we're everybody and they are us at the same time. So when you want to really kind of get your ideas, whatever this is going, be very careful you haven't overestimated your strengths or underestimated the challenges that are in front of you. And it's okay to ask for help. This is a great card about asking for help. You look at this old boy and he's like, like the other day, and thank you. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. You pointed it out. It's not Sneaky Snake Goes Dancing, Wiggling, and a Jiggling. It's Sneaky Snake Goes Dancing, Wiggling, and Hissing. And that's the same here. This old boy's trying to be Sneaky Snake or being, the sneaky weasel. And he's sneaking away from a military camp, and he thinks he's stolen from the enemy, and he really thinks he got one over on these people. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And it's imaginary. He didn't. And if you look at his red cap and his boots, those are his thoughts and actions being guided more by passion than reason. And y'all, listen, as I've said, I'm a dreamer of dreams, and I love dreamers of dreams. For Bernadette, my dreams aren't worth a hoot, not a hoot and HE double hockey sticks, unless they can come to reality. And that's me, but some people, my grandma was like this. She just loved to dream. She did. It wasn't so important. We were so poor when I was a kid. And we would go once a month to JM Fields in Ocala, Florida. And we would walk through there. My grandma would spend half the day oohing and ahhing over stuff she couldn't afford and was never going to have. And one day when I got older, I said, Grandma, actually, I think it was my sister that asked her, do you ever regret that we didn't have enough money for you to buy those things that you wanted? She said, hell no. We're like, what? And she said, by the time I had dreamed about having them, I dreamed about it so much, it was just like having those things. And that was a big lesson for me. And so I feel like for y'all, gosh, I can't, how it works for me, guys, when I do readings, and even when I teach classes and I'm teaching intuitive tarot, if I deliver a message, and the message is completely delivered. The vision, the taste, the smell, the sound, the what feeling, whatever it is, it'll go away. Message delivered. But when it keeps persisting, keeps persisting, keeps persisting, I know there's more to the message, or maybe I haven't heard it exactly correctly, and the message keeps going, and I cannot get. I keep seeing this, seeing this, seeing this. That's people writing, people writing. Even if you're doing it on your keyboard, it's the sacred scribing. There's something about sacred scribing, sacred words that have to be written down. And you could even do it in the memos on your phone. You know, this is sacred this is sacred scribing these days. Maybe there's something that you need to say or want to say on one of the social media platforms. Awesome. Whatever this sacred scribing is, do it. However, the devil is in the details. Do your very best not to overestimate, have your thumbs or your keyboard or your pen, write checks that the rest of you can't cash. And make sure that you haven't underestimated what the consequences of that would be. Don't do it. And so take a really good look at that today when you're looking at Weasel and Seven of Swords. And this poor old boy in this card, okay, so it was his first attempt. It's the first kind of dawn of understanding in the pattern of this guy thinking he's getting one over on people, or he's weaseling his way into something, or weaseling his way out of something. And we all know people like that, and we all do it sometimes. You don't want to speak the hardcore truth, and you can't think of anything else to say that will soften the blow a little bit. And you start to do the dance. I call it the dance. If y'all have ever seen the musical Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and the senator is singing that, ooh, I'm gonna dance a little sidestep. Now you see me, now you don't. I've come and gone, and ooh, I love to swing. Anyway, so it's kind of like that. Deceit, deceit, deceit. Don't do it. Honesty is the best policy, or just walk away. And that really means with yourself, y'all. If I had a nickel for everybody that sits in front of me that says, I want to do what you do, I want them to do what I will do. I'm not a competition person for Bernadette. The more people that are waking up to what their possibilities are, the more people that are self-actualizing, the more people that are becoming wild and free. Are you kidding me? That's a world I want to live in. I'm in. I'm your huckleberry. Let's go. What can I do to help? But they're not, they won't, because what you have to go through within yourself to try to get to that place where you can be a very clear vessel, and you can be a hollow bone, and you can allow the messages to come through you no matter how kooky. Maybe you might have heard it incorrectly and you said it wrong. Oh my gosh, I know. So yesterday I gave thanks for this client and friend and the son I'll never have, this young man named Asish. I just love him. Just love him. So I got to say it again to you, Asish. Hello, I love you. Thank you for delivering the message. I was sitting here worried about the stories that I tell in the video, trying to illustrate the card meanings and the animal meanings and how it might apply to your spiritual growth and, your self-actualization and personal empowerment and self-development and all those buzzwords. And I hear things really kooky sometimes. So I was reading for this gal, and she gave me permission to tell you the story because it uses her husband's name. So her husband passed over, and he came to us, well, through me, to her, although he comes to her all the time. And I kept saying to her, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure that he did not, or you did not almost drown? She's like, no. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, I'm pretty sure I would know if one of us almost drowned. I'm like, well, I'm telling you, he's not letting up. I said, and now he's telling me you'll know further, because he's showing me the water, like when you flush a toilet and how the water goes in a circular motion, it goes blah, 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 blah down. And now he's showing me the Tidy Bowl Man. You know those little commercials where the Tidy Bowl Man was in his little boat in the tank, and he circles the drain and he goes under? She goes, yeah. And I'm like, he's saying you'll know what it means. And he said, the evidence that he's going to give me for that is that you will remember there was a big incident. Y'all went to one of those wave pools like they have at, I think it's at Epcot or Disney or whatever, where 1 billion people get in this giant pool, and then you hear this roar, and these waves come for you, and all the tourists are slapping up against the walls because they don't know how to. People that have never been in waves should never try to be in something like that the first time. They don't have the strength to do it. They don't have the know-how to do it. And it's funny, but it's not funny. Anyway, I grew up on the beaches of Florida, in my younger years. I was like, here comes one, let's go. I was playing flipper. But anyway, so she kept thinking, and she went, that incident, oh my God, it happened so long ago, but I know what it was. And then she goes, oh my gosh. So listen to this, y'all. So her husband's name was and still is Dwayne. And apparently where they live up north, people say this a lot. Drain the bathtub. I'm looking at this because I had to make a note. I'm like, I'll never remember that. Drain the bathtub, I'm drowning. I thought I had heard about gajillion colloquialisms from all over the world because I love colloquialisms. They're like puns. I collect them. They're like little chocolate delicious morsels to me. Never heard it, but apparently it's a thing there. And she just starts laughing, crying at the same time. I'm like, whoa, whoa, what? And she said, we used to say, because his name was Dwayne, Dwayne the bathtub, I'm drowning. I'm like, oh, drain the bathtub, I'm drowning. So he's showing me this with the, it's going down the toilet. And he's showing me somebody almost drowned, trying to get now. He may have been trying to show me something else, but that's what came through my little medium, evidential mediumship head. She got the message and a bunch of other ones from her husband, who is just the funniest guy, by the way, and ended the whole thing on he only misses a few things, her, of course, but she should already know that. So he went on to the earthly things he misses, one of which is pancakes. My God, the man had a love affair with pancakes like no other. But anyway, so we're giving a shout out to Dwayne, one of the nicest spirits I've ever had come to me. Just a doll baby. Love this guy. Hilarious, this guy. But where I'm going with this is the devil is in the details. And so when you've got things coming through to you, it really is, and I think it was in yesterday's video, somebody, I love you wild ones, man. Y'all keep me on the straight and narrow, and you keep my little 55-year-old pumpkin head, giving me hope that I'm not having a stroke or have early onset Alzheimer's or something, because my memory these days is just nuts. And y'all remind me in the comments, and I just love you for it, and I learn something every day. But somebody pointed out to me that the pentacles, coins are actually three-sided. There's not two sides to a coin. There's three sides. There's the top, the bottom, and then the rim around. That's three sides. Well, when you think about it, a sword has three sides. It has the top, the bottom, or the front and the back, and then it's got that razor sharp edge that goes around it. It is three-sided. So when I take a look at that, and I know that the three sides, like I said in yesterday's video, and it holds true for this video today, in the South, we have a saying that, when it comes to finding out the truth, there are three sides to every story. There's your side, there's the other person's side, and in the middle somewhere is the truth that only God knows, or the universe knows, or, somebody above us all knows what the truth is. And I feel like that this whole sacred scribing thing, in the weaseling in and weaseling out and potential deceit, it's the devil's in the details, the meaning of the Seven of Swords. It's so important for you guys today for a couple of reasons. You might save yourself from some great embarrassment. I got to go in the other day on a video, and God love my video guy. He had I just love him. He wrote me, he's like, you think you really want to say that? And I was like, I overstepped, didn't I? And he goes, well, some people might interpret that as a little harsh. And I'm like, yeah, let's take it out. I really felt like a jerk, like a pure jerk. Because, we all have those days where we're just like, can I get a witness? And I was just like going on, like I was on a pulpit somewhere, and just got carried away with myself, unfortunately. And he saved me, man. And the minute that he brought that to my attention, which is why I say you might be needing to pay attention to the devil's in the details of information that someone's giving you about you, I felt about that big. So my video guy, I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not on video. I'll ask him. Just a doll. Oh my God, I love him. He saved me from myself. I'm so grateful. And you may have to do that, or this card and all this whole, story and everything's leading up to it, it might have to do with somebody else. And maybe, today is Sunday. It's the day of clarity. The sun shining, it's light on everything and everybody. You may have to come out and, be the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo, it's all right. And you may have to be that person. or not. It's up to you. So just remember that everybody gets better with practice. And right now, this card portends that everything's in an experimental stage. And you may have to do it over and over and over and over again, whatever this is. Listen, y'all, when I write, I made my whole staff crazy when oh my God, getting the art book together, calling and asking for opinions. Will you take a look at this? Will you give me some, pointers on this and that? And what do you think? And I rewrote and rewrote and rewrote and rewrote and rewrote and rewrote and rewrote. And they were like, it's fine. And I'm like, nope. And I rewrote and rewrote. Anyway, and it's not the great American novel, but I feel really confident it's the most comprehensive body of work on spirit, totem, and power animals that's out there right now. Until the new book comes out next year that's not part of a tarot deck with 333 animals. And that's almost finished. So take a look at all of those things. And, what I'll say for Weasel is, yeah, they're super associated with deceit, and they're super associated with fun and chaos. But there's no, when you take a look at hiding things, that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes secrets should be kept. Your secrets should be kept, and you should only surround yourself. Well, I don't know. Can you keep your own secrets? Can you be a sacred secret keeper for someone else, or do you just have to tell them? Because let me tell you, people like me, other people like me, we will weigh and measure what we believe we can put trust in you if you can't keep a secret, especially if you tell us, I haven't told anybody else. You shouldn't have never told anybody to begin with. That wasn't your secret to tell. Now, if you have a secret, it's your secret and you want to entrust somebody, that's one thing. But if you're passing on secrets that belong to somebody else, don't do it. Not today. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm not telling you how to be. What I am telling you is Weasel, and look at that gnat. It's like the second cousin to the fly that was in here a couple days ago. So I'm just telling you, today is not the day. And that's not Bernadette. Believe me, I don't give advice. I'm a terrible advice giver. And that's why I never went into life coaching. I'd be a terrible life coach or counselor or anything like that. That's why I'm not in it. Because I know my limitations. And I know what I'm capable of and not capable of. And so I would encourage you that when it comes to secrets, man, you could do some really beautiful work just for yourself or someone else, or even a group of people, if you can keep your yap shut. During the war, when my mom was a kid, they had all kinds of espionage and propaganda kinds of training that they were trying to do with the public that went about as well as hide under your desk. If we tell you a nuclear bomb is coming, hide under your desk at school. What? Okay. But they did have a thing, because there is a whole long historical situation. Y'all can look it up. But there really was a saying back then that loose lips sink ships. So remember that today. If you're out there sneaky snaking, or you feel like somebody else is sneaky snaking or sneaky weaseling, wriggling and a jiggling and a hissing, either walk away from them, be quiet, do something. But today is about secrets. And, that may boil down to, let's say you've got a great idea for a business or a class or a book or a set of tarot cards, or, a relationship thing you want to, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever your ideas that show up today, they're very special. They're very special, and they're meant for you to achieve, and they're meant for you to just have such joy and success with, that you don't want to give that away. You don't want your loose lips or somebody else's loose lips to sink your ship. Don't do it. And you want to be intrepid and courageous enough. You really don't want to hurt anybody else, and like Weasel does when it's trying to get to those birds to munch on them. But listen, it's you got to admire them. I mean, I don't think any weasel is surprised when a bird takes off and they hang on with them and ride them. I just don't think they're surprised. I think they do it willingly and knowing they're taking a risk too, because as high as that woodpecker was, if that old poor little weasel had fallen off, he's going to plummet to his little, weasel forest in the sky. but they do it. And I'm not saying it has to be drastic like all of that, but let's be honest. If we've got some kind of creative body of work we want to do you know that's what holds most people back, is they're terrified that somebody else is not going to like it. So they won't like it. So what? Now, it may be awful. It may need improvement just in terms of it being commercial, but anything that you do that's born of a passion can't be all bad unless you're the guy in the Seven of Swords and you've got a goal and you're not achieving the goal because you're doing it only from a place of passion, and you're not adding the more grounded kind of way of looking at things, a plan you're putting together moving forward a step at a time. That's probably going to go badly. So very quickly, if you're going to have Weasel show up as your spirit animal, I really believe that's all about secret keeping. And if weasels are nothing if not opportunists, they will steal they will steal food from any dang body in the forest. And when you start to try to take away somebody's life or their sustenance, that's just not a good thing. But you can be an opportunist in a really great way. You can see an opportunity before other people can, and you can pounce on it. People that do stock work do that all the time. People that do investing, they do it all the time. I'm not saying there's not insider trading. That's a whole nother Weasel story and a whole nother Seven of Swords story for another day. But sometimes you just get that gut. And whether the investment is in stocks or it's in yourself or it's in another person or it's in whatever, this very well may be the time for you to start identifying Weasel as your totem animal, and just see if you can't bring up that part of you. Likewise, if you're going to invoke Weasel as your power animal, or you're going to unite that part of your spirit that is Weasel, it's all about finding the clever solutions. And that's even down to, you've got a sentence that you're writing or a list that you're making. You're like, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. Or something you want to say to somebody or to a crowd of people, and you're like, that's not right, that's not right. Find the clever solutions, and that can mean so many things. So one other thing I just want to say about Weasel is they are master detectives. When they want something, they can, well, first of all, they can shimmy up under anything. They can about flatten themselves like cats can. Have you ever seen how cats, if it weren't for their big old jug head, they can flatten themselves and get in and out of things? You're like, how did you get in there? Weasels are just like that. But when they're looking for something, they're relentless. They will stay on it until they find what it was they were looking for. So just remember that as you go throughout your Sunday. You guys, thanks for hanging with me this week. You're always so gracious to invite me into your home, your car, wherever it is, that you're listening or watching these videos. And you're always so sweet to invite me into your heart. And so I'm extending the same invitation to you all. Always, I always let you into my heart, and you're in part of my home. My office is in my home. And, who knows, maybe next week. I'm so embarrassed to show you my kitchen. It looks like, but I have to do it because you wouldn't believe it until you saw it. It looks like a kitchen you'd see in a dollhouse. It doesn't even look real because it doesn't really get used too much, but it'll make you laugh. So I'm going to take you into my kitchen with me. And whatever it is that you do today, whatever comes through your crown chakra, whatever sun element warms any part of you, I just hope that you take today to remember that you are wild and free. It is your birthright to have any kind of life that you can dream. The trick is to do what? To stay wild.